Hello and welcome to Behind the Badge. I'm Chief Edward Dunn, the Falmouth Police Department, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about central records, what happens with central records as far as what it is. And I have two guests with me today who are the individuals who basically run the records department. And I want to welcome Janet Utaro and Christy Terrell. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
You want to just start out briefly, just tell the community who you are and how long you've been working with the police department?
Sure. I'm Janet, and I've been with the police department for, I'm in my third year now. And it's a great opportunity to serve the public. I thoroughly enjoy.
And you're civilians, you're not sworn personnel.
That's correct.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're not police officers.
No.
Right. Christy?
I just started less than 6 months ago. Coming up 6 months this next month.
Yeah. And you're still enjoying it?
Yes.
Very
yeah.
good. And again, everything that we talk about today, if the community, the public goes to our website, they'll find that information on there, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're not taking notes, they can go to our website.
Yes, the website is a great tool.
Okay. So let's start out. What is Central Records? What is that, you know, it's titled Central Records, but what is it?
Well, Central Records holds all of the documents that are generated, whether they be accident reports, offense reports, citations, anything that a law enforcement officer would create.
Right.
We hold on to those records.
Yeah, because our offices do a lot of paperwork in the course of a day.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And everything. So basically, you're a depository for the paperwork.
Yes.
And safekeeping. And there's all sorts of laws that go along with that too.
There are.
Yeah. There are. Can we talk a little bit about if people come in and want to get a report? How does that work?
Well, sometimes if you have an accident, sometimes they'll come in the next day and they'll want an accident report. It's important to note that all reports take about 5 business days to generate, become approved, and then once they're approved, then we can give them to the public. Right.
Yeah, I know people have a crash and they want to get that information to their insurance company.
Yes.
Yeah, it is important to let the community know that the police officers on the street take that information, they respond to the accident, they fill out that report, but that report still needs to be approved by a supervisor.
Yes.
And you can't release it until that supervisor has approved it, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Can you also we'll talk a little bit about a report that someone might get that is redacted? Because I know sometimes they'll come in, they'll get a report, and there'll be all these black lines in it. Can we talk about what redaction is and why it's redacted?
Well, redact, the word redact means to delete or take away. And there is information in all the reports that folks are not entitled to. Social security numbers.
Addresses.
Yes.
Phone numbers.
Phone numbers, social security
Date
numbers,
of birth.
personal information.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you were getting the report, it's your report, you would get that information.
We still take it out
Do
just
you?
in case it gets distributed.
Okay, yeah, no, because we want to protect everybody from the personal information.
A lot of time they send it to the insurance company.
Right, right. And we are catching up with the times
Yes,
and getting away from paper.
that is exciting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even our offices don't print all the reports anymore. It just stays in the computer system and then you can get it. And if those are, we're scanning them to electronic files.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
All electronic.
Yeah. It's most communities are going that way now. So can we email a report to anybody if
Yes,
they need it?
we can email some reports. There are some reports due to the nature of the case that we cannot.
Okay.
They have to be in person and show a photo ID.
Okay. Great. That's important information to have that you need to. You don't want to be just giving out reports to people who aren't entitled to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you two are the record keepers. Very good. How about how long do we keep records? Can we talk a little bit about record retention?
7 years, but some records we keep forever, like sexual,
Assault,
domestic cases we keep forever.
Domestic cases,
Mhm.
sexual assaults,
fatalities.
fatalities, yeah. Murder investigations, I would
Yes.
imagine. Anything
Mhm.
serious like that.
Yes.
But the minor, like vandalisms or
Breaking and entering.
breaking and enterings,
Accidents.
after 7 years,
We can, with the approval of the record keeper, the state record keeper.
okay, we have to get approval
Yes.
from them first. So,
Yes.
Mhm.
so people should be able to get records at least 7
At
years.
least.
At
And
least 7
if
years.
it's a major piece, then they can get them for longer than that.
That's
Mhm.
correct.
Yep.
Yes.
Beyond keeping records, we also do some licensing.
Yes.
Lot of
oh,
licensing.
yes.
A lot of licensing.
Mhm.
Can we discuss that?
Sure. There are a number of licensing applications, Firearms,
LTCs.
Okay.
yes.
And LTC is a license to carry, for
Mhm.
those who don't know. Taxis, limos,
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Hawkers and peddlers.
hawkers and peddlers, and
There's the solicitor, too.
solicitors. Okay.
They don't have a license, it's a permit. It's not,
Let's break them down a little bit. How about on the firearms license? If you wanted to get your firearms license, your license to carry,
Mhm.
what's the process? Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, there's an application in the actual lobby of the police station. It has a detailed list of instructions that you can follow. You need a basic hunter safety course. You
Right.
need your photo ID. You need to be in person. A self-addressed stamped envelope. Yep. What else?
and we always have the application fee,
Okay.
and that is a check for $100 made out to the town of Falmouth.
Personal check or a certified check or
Don't be personal.
personal check on that? And
Yep.
it's $100 to the town of Falmouth.
Yes.
Okay.
And FIDs are 25 for
25.
people under 18.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So once they fill all that out, they would then bring all that into the police station.
Yes.
And what happens as far as they fingerprinted?
Mhm. We take a photo of them, we put their application into the system, and then we generate their fingerprints, which gets us a background, the first stage of our background check.
Okay.
Mhm.
And we do electronic fingerprinting now too, so we're not
Yes.
doing the ink. We get away from that.
We
Generally,
did-
it takes a day for the results to come back.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there's further background information?
Yep.
What does that entail?
We run a BOP, and we run,
A BOP is a board of probation.
right.
Right.
And that shows everything in Massachusetts. And then
Okay.
we do the III, which goes further than that,
Across the country?
across the country.
And
and then we
and that lets you know if they have a criminal record?
We also check the DMH, which is Department of Mental Health. We send off a slip to them, and they check it, and they send it back. That takes about 2 to 3 days
Okay.
for them to get back to us.
So how long does the whole process take before someone might see their license?
So it's improved. It used to take about 5 to 6 months.
Right.
We have got it down to 3 or 4 months.
Wow, that's
So-
really good.
Yeah.
It's improved greatly with the digital fingerprinting,
Right.
very helpful.
Because I'm sure, I know in the past, we had issues with fingerprinting, and they couldn't read it. They'd
Yep.
send it back to you, and then we'd have to call
Yes.
the people up and have them come in. So now, at least with the digital, it's,
Yeah, we still have cases of that, but it's easier to combat it when you have something electronic.
oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. It's good for everybody. It's good for, and it's just helping you and not duplicating the work, but it also helps the individual who wants to get his license. So that's great. How about the taxi and limo licenses? What's entailed there?
The same thing, they will go through a background check and they will have their fingerprints taken. And they need to bring in a few things, a few documents to get them started.
Okay.
So they have the application. They have a couple of fees. They will pay $30 to the town of Falmouth,
Okay.
and then they will pay $30 for the fingerprinting background check. That fee needs to be a cashier's check or money order. The state has said,
That money goes to the state.
yes,
To
it
the
goes right
Commonwealth.
to the state, and they have dictated the way they want it received.
Okay.
And then they need to bring in 2 pictures, passport pictures of themselves
Okay.
that we use on their license
Mhm.
once the background has been approved. And once we do the background check, we'll put the paperwork in order, and then the packet goes to the lieutenant who does the sign off.
Okay.
They also need a letter from their employer.
Oh, so that
Mhm.
they're employed
Yep.
at a livery or a taxi company?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so we want to keep their fares safe, which is why we do all that with the taxi, so not just anybody
Yes.
can drive one. We want to make sure that they are a responsible individual driving them, so.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Very good. And what's this hawker and peddler's license? What's that all about? Explain, some people may not know what a hawker or a peddler is.
Well, I think I explained it. A hawker and a peddler is somebody selling balloons and souvenirs at the parade.
Okay, that's the best.
So,
They cannot stay idle.
yes,
Yeah, they have to be moving. If they're not vending, the law, and that's a state law, that's not our law.
Yes.
Right.
And some people don't understand that,
Yeah.
but I think once we use that balloon souvenir
They get it.
example, they get it.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, the law is very specific on that. If you're not vending or peddling,
Yes.
you have to move. You
And
can't be stationary.
That's correct, and it's important to note that if there's a parade coming up and you want to work the parade, that you need to give us at least 2 weeks' notice to get your permit through the process so you can work that event on the date. We sometimes have some people come in the day before an event, and we just can't get through the process quickly.
Right.
So they can get that.
Yeah, because it's going to take you some time to reach out, to, like you just said, to run all those different border probation checks
Yes.
and triple I's to make sure they don't have a criminal record. 'Cause
Yes,
we don't, again, we want to keep our community safe and don't want to be giving criminals hawkers and peddlers licenses.
and they too need to go through the fingerprinting process, so that,
You need to have the information come back from the state.
yes,
Because you don't approve it until, it's the state that approves the fingerprints.
Yes.
They're doing their background check on the backside.
exactly.
Mhm.
That's important. What about a solicitor?
Well, solicitor is a door-to-door, maybe, I don't know if they sell magazines door-to-door anymore.
Sell knives.
Yeah, I think more in the summertime, we have complaints on that. And that would be one thing that I would tell the community, that if you ever have a question about somebody selling something or soliciting something, to call the police station, and we will check on them
Yes.
to make sure, first of all, that they have the proper permits and licenses, and
Make
that
sure
they
it's
are
not
really
spam.
doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's important.
Because if they are going door-to-door, they will be on record at the police
At the
station.
police station, so people
Yes.
can always call and find out if they are registered.
Yes,
Because I know sometimes we've had some of them that have been very pushy,
Mhm.
especially the magazines and things like that.
yeah.
And like I said, that usually happens in the summertime. Let's move on to, we also do parking stickers, correct?
Mhm.
Yes, we
Because
do.
town of Falmouth has, you can purchase stickers. Can we talk a little bit about that program?
The residents of Falmouth are entitled to purchase a parking sticker, which will allow them to park mainly in Woods Hole. Woods Hole is a small area in Falmouth, and the parking is very limited.
Exactly.
So the parking sticker for residents was created. For $15, you can park on
Cer-
some of the
There's certain
residential
streets,
streets.
and those are all on
yes.
our website. I know, I think it's Millfield, and it
Mhm.
might even be Buzzards Bay. So there's some streets
Buzzards
up
High,
in
Bay.
there.
High Street, I think
Street, right.
is it High Street?
I think
Yes.
High
Yeah.
Street's one of them.
Mhm.
But all the designated spots are on our webpage,
Yes, and we have a little map that
Yeah.
we can hand
If-
out
okay?
when they come. And the residents of those streets are also entitled to purchase a guest pass.
Okay.
So that does give them a little bit of a
And
benefit.
that's $15?
$15 to the town of Falmouth.
And they have to have their registration with them when they come in, correct?
Yes,
And
current
that's the
registry,
proof
yes.
that they are a Falmouth resident. That's what
Yep.
you're
Yes.
using.
Yes.
And if they are leasing a vehicle, then they need to bring a copy of the leasing contract.
Oh,
So
okay.
we can see that the name and address match up to the person asking for the purchase.
So that's another great service that we have.
Yes.
Another big question that we always have is, and it's an issue for the police officers too, is we have an alarm registration program.
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
The alarm registration is a one-time fee of $25. No, once you register your alarm, that's
All the
it.
updates are free.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what we do. We ask, as long as you keep your information updated, that's most important.
Yeah, and that is the important part. If your alarm goes off, we respond to the alarm, and a lot of times the officers want a caretaker. And
Yeah.
that's what's on the registration, correct? Would be,
Yeah. There's multiple contacts that you can put down. I think there's 3 spots that you
okay.
can put.
So you can have 3 different contacts.
3 different contacts. Yeah.
Sometimes people ask, why do I need to put contacts down? And I say, well, it's for the safety of them, the homeowner, because God forbid something happened and something happened to them inside the home. We have other numbers and people we could contact to let them know that something's has
Yeah, because a lot of times, if the house is broken into, or there's vandalism, or somebody, whatever happens to the home, we want to be able to contact somebody that has access to the home, and they can deal with it. But you're right, once that's in the registration piece, if something else non-alarm related happens, we have contacts. Yeah,
Yes.
that's another good point. It's another
Yes.
just information. And again, that information is all private. It's for the police department only. It's not shared with anybody.
It
We
is
don't
not.
sell it or anything like that. But and it is a one-time registration fee, because I think I was talking with you, Christy, not too long ago.
We have to send a
People-
lot of checks back.
People were sending checks in
Yeah,
every year.
They've
and-
already paid.
Right.
Yeah.
And we don't charge every year, but we do like the updates every year, because a friend may have left the community
Yes.
and everything else, and that happens a lot. We call, and they're no longer friends, or they're no longer,
Right.
even sometimes they're no longer the owner of the home.
Right,
Mhm.
correct.
A lot of
Yes.
people put, pet information on there too. My dog is friendly. Don't, so when the
Oh,
officer
okay.
gets there, they don't have to worry
Right.
as much.
That's so our dispatchers, because
Yeah.
all that information goes to our dispatchers,
Mhm.
they can bring it up, and that makes sense that they do have,
Yeah, it's helpful.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
The other thing to note is that if there are 3 false alarms
Okay.
that we respond to, you respond to,
Mhm.
then we send in writing a notice to the homeowner, and just to let them know that the 4th false alarm, there will be a fine.
There's a bylaw.
Yes,
Right.
there is a bylaw, and not a lot of people know that, but we'd like to share that information and let them know.
That's important, right? That's very
Um,
important. The community knows that. I mean, there's no charge for answering alarm calls. We respond. It's our job.
Yes,
And we usually get the call from the alarm company, and our officers will respond. And you're right. If we end up there because it's some sort of faulty system, it does take away from the officers performing other duties to just keep answering a false alarm, which is why we have the bylaw that after
Yes.
that you will be fined until it gets fixed.
yes,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's important, because we don't want to waste time answering false alarms.
Mhm.
And a lot of times if it's a windy day where we've had some high winds, it's up to the supervisors to make a determination. A lot of times we'll just go to those house alarms once, just because we don't want to keep going back to it, because it's the alarm, the wind's setting them off, things like that. But that's interesting, and it's good to know that people can do that. Also, on the same piece on that, a program that we started last year, and we've had a few people register, is we've reached out to the community as far as if they have any camera systems in their homes that they could register, and that's free of charge.
Yeah,
And that camera registration is just to let us know that they have camera, whether it's Ring videos from doorbells or other surveillance systems on their homes. We really would like to get those registered so that if there is a crime in the area, so that the officers doing the follow-ups don't have to go door to door asking those questions, that we actually have a log. It doesn't allow us access to your cameras. It just lets us know that you have camera, you might have video that could help us. And then we would go to those particular homes and just ask them if they would like to share it. And if they do, that's fine. And if they don't, that's fine also. But we started that program, and I know in the beginning we had a few people come in. I don't know if we still have people coming in. And again, that's on our website.
The link is right there on the front page.
And it's just another investigative tool for our officers, should they need it. But I know there was a little confusion when we first did it. People said, oh, we're gonna have access to your cameras. No, we don't have access to your cameras. We don't log in. It would all be permission for you to share that video with us if there is anything on that. So I just wanna let the community know that. Another really important topic, and I know we get a lot of questions on this, has to do with the sex offender registry. Can we talk a little bit about that? How that works?
Sure. Well, we do have the registration, and we have different levels of sex offenders. All towns, we're not singled out.
Correct.
All towns have this registration. And we have level 1, which the level 1 folks do not have to register with the Falmouth Police Department or any police department, but they do have to register with the sex offender
State.
Registry.
Right,
Yes.
the registry. And they're the offenders in the ranking of the offenders the least likely to reoffend.
Yes, yes.
And then you have your level 2?
Level 2.
It's a moderate level to reoffend.
Moderate level
Yeah.
to reoffend, and then level 3 are your offenders that are most likely to reoffend again.
High risk.
High
High
risk.
risk.
Yes.
How do people find out about them? How would someone find out if they had a sex offender in their neighborhood?
Well, actually, the best tool, you can come into the police station and ask for the book of the flyers and look through that. But actually, the best tool is to go on to the Massachusetts State website. It's mass.gov SORB. And it gives you a radius of all the sex offenders around you within a 5-mile radius, which is important because if you live near a town line, it also goes into other towns too. Whereas Falmouth, if you come in and look at the book, it's only going to have Falmouth offenders.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And we have sex offenders on our webpage?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
The level 3s?
Level 2 and 3.
Okay.
After the year 2013, July 2013, the level 2s became public in the flyer book.
Okay.
Prior to that, they have to come in.
They had to come into
Yes,
the station to look at the book and things like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is important also to note that we have a lot of homeless people who are on our list of sex offenders, and if they're homeless, they have to come in and register every 30 days.
Oh, okay.
So any sex offender who has to register with the police department normally would come in on their birth date every year. And
So
we
once
would,
a year.
Yeah, once a year registration, and we'll take their photograph. Photos change, everybody's appearance changes.
Right.
So we take their photograph, but the homeless folks need to come in every 30 days.
Oh, interesting. And again, what's important for our viewers is there's several ways to get that information. They could come in, and we have the book. They can look on our webpage.
Yes.
Or they can go to the mass.gov SORB website And that's a great tool that you talked about, that you can put in your address,
Yep.
and it will give you a whole circumference as to
Yes.
where the sex offenders
It's
might
a
be.
very good resource.
That's
Yeah.
a great resource. Well,
Yes.
anything else you think you'd like to share with the with our viewers
I
that we missed?
think we covered it all.
We've covered it all.
I know, I
mean,
think so.
you two are very
Yeah.
busy.
We are busy, and that's another reason why we say come in plenty of time. Although we can say that for those renewing their license to carry and their firearms, their FID card, when they come in to renew, no matter how long it takes to get the process through to their new card, we give them a receipt that keeps their current license active
Okay.
until the new one comes in.
Till the new one. Good.
So even, not that it would ever happen, if it took 9 months,
Right.
they would still
They're still
remain
covered.
active.
I know there was a time, and it wasn't on our end, it was on the state end. They just got
Yes.
inundated, I think, they got backlogged. And there was, I think you said, like 6 months or longer
Yes.
before people got their licenses, and I know they were coming in a lot to try to inquire on that. But that's also great, and it's a great peace of mind that it's okay if it is delayed, as long as
Yes.
you have that receipt. But again, that's an important fact. Come in, don't wait till it expires, come in.
Maybe a month. We
A
don't want
month.
them to in too early, because then it backs
Right.
up everything.
Then it
So
backs
it's like that
everything up.
fine
But
line.
About a month,
About
they
a
can
month.
come in and they can get that.
Yeah.
That's great. It's been,
Yeah.
I think that's been very informative.
Yes. No.
I appreciate both of you taking away from your duties today. We've left the lieutenant in there to fend for himself.
Yes,
Okay.
he does a good job.
No. And that's important to let the community know too. They are civilians. If there's a legal question that needs to be answered, we have a police lieutenant there that can answer those legal questions. But both of you are very, you've been trained and very informed on the licensing issues and things like that, and can give information like that to the community if they have any concerns. So, again, I want to thank you both for being on the show today, and I really appreciate it. And I think this hopefully will help the community have a better understanding what Central Records is all about.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
in closing, I just again would like to just reinforce, if you're looking for any information as far as paperwork, sex offender registries, if you need to register for your alarm or your firearms renewal, all that can be found on the Falmouth Police Department's website, and as well as going for the sex offender, which is important and very concerning to many people in the community. Go into the mass.gov website and you can get all that information. So again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and appreciate it, watching Behind the Badge. And as we've always said, don't ever hesitate to call the police department if you have any questions. We're there for you 24/7, and if you see something, please say something. Thank you.